Hey guys, this apocalypse is boring, so I'm going to teach you how to make choux pastry. It's actually really super easy. You can use it, you can fill them with ice cream, you can fill them with lots of different kinds of creams. You can make a Gateau Honoré, which I might do here in a minute. So let's get going. The first thing you need to do is put your oven at 425. Get that preheating, that way you can get rolling as soon as your dough's ready. You're going to get a pot on the stove. You're going to put a half cup of water, half cup of milk. It's better to use whole milk, but I only have 2%, so you get what you get. Then we're going to do just a little bit of salt and about a teaspoon of sugar. No, it looks like I'm cooking meth over here with it in a foil, but it's sugar, I promise. And then you're going to put in, I don't know, this is going to look like a lot of butter, but a stick and 2 tablespoons of butter. Then you're going to set that, I'm bad at lighting the stove, ready to boil. Alright, we're kicking up to a quicker boil now, which is perfect. Yep. Alright, now that it's rolling, we're going to add a cup and 2 tablespoons of flour. We're just going to dump it in all at once. Mix it in. As soon as we get it mixed back in, we're going to pop it right back on the heat. Alright. Only on the heat for about 10 seconds until it works itself smooth. Yeah, just like this. See how it's not sticking to the sides anymore? Perfect. Off the heat. Alright, now we're off the heat. I'm going to pop it into this bowl so it'll stop cooking. I want to let it cool off just a little bit before I start adding eggs. I don't want scrambled eggs. That ought to be all right. We're going to add between 4 and 5 eggs. I usually use 4, but I use large eggs, and all I could find at the store today were medium. So we're just going to see how it goes. You add 1 by 1 until it reaches the right texture. Alright, the texture we're looking for is if you can draw a line through it and it just closes real slow, but it does close. See? If I cut this line, it'll close right back up. That's perfect. That's what we're looking for. Wipe my hands because they're a little eggy. We're going to put it in a piping bag. I'm using just a normal round tip. Sometimes I use a little bit of a fluted one. Doesn't really matter. Just not a fancy one. It needs to be decently round. And this fork's going to be terrible for scooping. I'm going to go back to my spoon. And we're going to pop this off in there. This is a little piping bag, so that's about all I can fit at one time. I'm going to get my piping bag, and I'm sticky already. Always happens. I always make a mess with this recipe. You're just going to do little blobs. That was a big one. That's fine. You're going to want to go in a small circle and then on top of it. This helps to make sure it's nice and hollow when you cook it. Yeah, they're ugly. That's fine. I'm gonna make some big ones. I'm really making big ones because this tip is huge. I thought it would work well, but it's a little larger than I might like. It'll make them easy to fill though, won't it? Remember, a circle and then right on top. Then down here, I'm just going to do some smaller ones. This is usually about the size that I would make them, just for decoration. If you want to like have them themselves as a dessert, yeah, the big is fine. But that's a little much for decoration. You can tell I'm getting like increasingly disgusting. Just going to do some dollops. And hope that they come out nice and hollow. And last little one. Alright, he was ugly. That's fine. I'm gonna wash my hands. And then we're going to go into the oven for about 8 minutes at 425. All right, they're out. This is what a small one should look like. And let's pick a good one. This is what a big one should look like. Nice and tall, puffy. You can feel it. They're pretty hollow inside. You can tell they're hollow inside because these have deflated a little bit. That's fine because when we fill them, we're going to cut the tops off and fill it up anyway. That one might actually be a little too flat, but most of these will be fine. But these little ones, absolutely perfect. I shouldn't have piped them that big. That was an oops. Some of them were alright, though. No biggie. Alright, to fill my choux pastries, I'm going to make 2 different kinds of cream. The first one is just a basic pastry cream. The second is a Chantilly, which is stupid easy. It's really just whipped cream. So for my pastry cream, we're going to start with a cup of milk onto the stove. I'm going to add 1/8 of a cup of sugar, a splash of vanilla. You're supposed to technically use a vanilla bean, but I don't want to pay, what, $15 for 1 bean? I don't know, something like that. Very expensive. Anyway, we're going to get this boiling over a medium heat, because we don't want to scald the milk. I'm going to use a fork because I need a whisk here in just a second. Actually, while that's getting ready, I'm going to get 1 egg. And another 1/8 of a cup of sugar. And I'm going to mix that up. It's going to be nice and thick. And to that, I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch and a tablespoon of flour. And they're both on that foil. We're going to mix that up. I don't want it to be lumpy because that's just going to add problems for my cream here in a minute. And I'm also trying not to burn my arm over the stove while I mix this. A little bit more. Alright, I'll give that a pass while I wait for this to boil. Alright, we're starting to boil, so I'm going to put this very slowly at it here. We don't want scrambled eggs. Just a little bit at a time. Keep adding little bits till you have it all. And this is actually a half recipe. A full recipe would basically be double this. It takes just a little bit longer and I get impatient, so. Also, this is about all the pastry cream that anyone needs for one single dessert. Keep whisking while you do it. Alright, it's all in. Now, we're going to put it back on the stove. Whoop. Put that back on. We're going to bring it to a boil, and we are never going to stop whisking this. I hear it bubbling. So it's going to start to thicken here any minute. It usually takes about 2 minutes after it starts to boil for it to be perfect. It's already starting to thicken. Yeah, we're getting there. Don't stop whisking. We're good. We're going to pop it out of there into here. Then it's going to go right into the fridge to cool down. I messed up. I forgot to add the butter. Whoop. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of diced butter after you take it off the stove. And mix that right in. It's still hot, so it should melt down pretty quick. Mix that in. All right. Now she's good to go into the fridge to cool down. All right, the last cream I'm going to make is a Chantilly cream, which again is basically just a whipped cream. And since I'm going to have to use my beater, it's going to be really loud. I'm going to mute it while I do that. So I'm going to tell you what goes in now. I'm going to do a cup of heavy cream. And I'm going to beat that for a little bit. And then I'm going to add a 1/3 of a cup of powdered sugar and a smidge of vanilla. Easy peasy. Yeah, I like that better. There you go, Chantilly cream. All right, the last step to doing your choux pastry is going to be filling them. And I've already opened these up, but I'm going to show you how to do it on a couple. They usually have like a natural line right here. Well, it's in different spots on all of them, but there's always a little crease. And you're just going to pop a knife in here and open it up. And you can see how hollow it is on the inside. And that's where we're going to fill it. So we're just going to open these up. And I also made a choux ring that I've already opened up for my big dessert that I'm going to make with all of this. Alright, after we open them up, we're going to pipe them full of Chantilly. So I've just got a piping bag full of it, and I'm just going to fill it up. I think they look better if it's coming out. You don't want it to be underfilled. I also had to whip up my Chantilly a little bit more. It was too flat. I like it more stiff. If you don't want to make your own, I'm sure that you could stick like a Cool Whip nozzle or something in here and save yourself the time. But that's your choice. I'm just going to fill all these up. I'm going to do my ring later, that way I don't botch it. Whoop. Also, I've got two batches here. You can tell this one's a little bit lighter than the other ones. I think they're better a little bit darker than this one. That one was a little bit under. All right, our last step in making this Gateau Saint Honoré is going to be assembling it, I guess. So I made a basic little sweet short crust pastry. You can use a bit of pie crust if you want. I'm going to get my ring and put it on top. I'm going to go ahead and fill this because I didn't want to before. We can do it pretty. Refill my bag really quick. And it's going to use every bit of that Chantilly that we made. In fact, I probably could have made about a half a cup more of it. But we'll make do. Little dollops all around. I'll come back and add some here because it was weak sauce. Splash in the rest. I'm not known for pretty, which is fine. We're going to put that on top. I'm going to put my pastry cream in the middle. Delicious. And top it with my little choux buns. And you can make more Chantilly and decorate the top with it. I didn't have enough, so it's going to be ugly. But that's fine, as long as it tastes good. That one. There you go.